Hello, Zeusers, and welcome back to another episode of Zeus with Bruce. And off the bat, I actually don't know if that's going to fly, saying Zeusers, Zeusies, whatever other name we can create for the community, but whatever works. I'll just say everybody if that's good too, but definitely been playing around with some different names. Someone actually had told me that I had worked with this person, and then they said, "Oh, I've been really Zeusing it up lately." Which is great because we actually use Zeus as a verb here. So that's pretty awesome. But okay, let's get back to the point. I want to mention today three laws that are absolutely crucial to follow and just to be aware of to your advantage. Because if you're not aware of them, someone can be using it for you. And you want to be aware of what's going on. So the first law that I really want to stress here is the law of familiarity, which states that when you get exposed to a certain person, thing, place, or even action for enough time, you become familiar with it. So we see this all the time, whether it's on social media or advertising or branding, and even in relationships to any extent, that the more exposure we have with someone or a thing, typically, if it's positive, that way we'll associate more positivity with that action, with that place, with that event, right? Hearing a song more and more, especially if you like it. When it comes down to, let's say, social media, we feel like we know the person that we're following. So, for example, if we just take someone that everybody follows, let's say The Rock, he's pretty popular on social. He has such a following and he posts consistently. So, when we see The Rock post and he's sharing his inner personal life, we feel like we're actually connected with him. So then what happens, let's just say if you get to meet him in person, you already feel like you're so connected with him, which this really it is the case, but it's not because it's more so a one-way street, right? That you're familiar with him, but for him, you're just really another fan or person that is probably going to freak out when they see him. So the importance of this is to use it to your advantage. Specifically, if we're talking about anything brand wise for a product or service or even your image, is that who you are online and who you consistently show up as in person is going to fall into the category of the law of familiarity. And people are always going to associate you with how you've always showed up. So, who you consistently show up as really will be the interpretation people have of you because that is what they're familiar with due to the law of familiarity. Second crucial law to be aware of is the law of reciprocity, which simply explained is that when someone does something for you, you feel obligated to reciprocate or do something in return for them. So this idea is really popularized by Robert Cialdini in his book. I think it's The Art of Persuasion. Is that, or I think it's just called Persuasion. And basically, it's that entire belief that whenever someone gives something to you, you already feel obliged to want to give something back. So, for example, if someone, this is funny when even you give someone a gift, and if someone's pretty smart and they don't want to feel any obligation, they'll actually just hold it. They're actually withhold from accepting the gift because it already, in a way, creates this need in them to actually need to return the favor. So definitely be aware of this one. And where is this also seen is in the Ben Franklin effect, right? Benjamin Franklin. It's a proposed psychological phenomenon where a person who has already performed a favor for another person is more likely to do another favor for the other than if they had received a favor from that person. An explanation for this is cognitive dissonance, right? So it's when people reason that they help others because they like them, even if they don't, because their minds struggle to maintain logical consistency between their actions and their perceptions. So let's simplify this to make it a little more tangible. One thing that a technique and a trick that you can use is first, you always got to come from a place of service to others however you can. If you do expect something in return, you probably will be let down most of the time in life because this unfortunately doesn't happen as frequently as we would like. However, if you do want to get someone on your side and someone who believes that, or someone who you believe that doesn't like you, and even if you don't want them to like you, but you got to work together, which happens very frequently, if you actually ask them to help you out with something, saying, "Hey, could you send me that text message? Could you send me that contact? Could you send me that information? Would you be able to take over this? Would you get me a bottle of water over there?" This small ask actually builds it compounds, and that person interprets you as someone they want to help. And why would they help you? Because they're a good person. Simple. That's really how this works. So use the law of reciprocity in really all areas of life. One thing that I really want to share on the podcast that for me, it's all about transparency here. And it's not about knowing techniques so you can get one up on somebody. And a lot of these techniques I'll use, and the thought could be, oh, but Bruce, you're sharing this technique, but aren't you using this on us? Look, I believe in using whatever resources and tools and skills you have in order to improve the quality of your life without negatively impacting the quality of other people's lives. If you can do this, then go ahead. So just want to make that as a caveat. And this is a big one to notice actually. Whenever you're online or anywhere and they say, "Oh, try this for free." Yeah. So no, it's totally free. Just join our session. It's free. Yeah, we just need your contact information and your email and your phone number. So nothing is free. Absolutely nothing. There's a Japanese expression that I like to use, and I actually used it at my brother Brennan De Silva and his wife Deborah De Silva now at their wedding. And I was asked to go up and give a speech as me and my older brother did. And I just read this book and had this really awesome Japanese phrase about nothing being free, right? So we all know about no such thing as a free lunch, but the phrase goes, Todo yoru takai, mongo nai. And what this means is that nothing is more expensive than something that is free of charge. So this is always a concept that's circulating frequently. So it's very important to be aware of this because you don't want to fall into the trap or also miss the opportunity to have this law leveraged. Final law, one of my favorites is Parkinson's law, which it's basically the adage that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. And I actually heard this through Elon Musk, which is actually he's in the news. I mean, all the time, but just about Twitter, something really wild. And it goes like this: if you allow yourself 2 days to complete a task, it'll be completed in 2 days. If you allow yourself 1 day to complete the same task, it'll be done in 1 day. Now, of course, to any law, which doesn't always make sense, but there is a caveat. So this isn't to say you can put a time frame that is not it's literally impossible in some circumstances. So let's say if you and your partner are you're trying to have a baby. Babies take on average about 9 months. So you can't actually rush the process of the baby actually growing in the body. You just can't. So of course there's like an asterisk to all these rules to a certain extent, or all these laws rather. And so when you're aware of this, you have a better frame of mind to work with when you actually want to get something done. So if you put a timeline and a deadline that by let's say 6 p.m. today, I'm going to finish this, I'm going to do that. When you create that, you condense the time that you have, and the work that you need to get done is filled into that slot. So this goes into so many areas of life, and you just got to find out where it's the most applicable. So, of course, to recap, we have the law of familiarity, the law of reciprocity, and the law, well, Parkinson's law. All these three, if you implement them just on a daily basis, be aware of them, know that they're occurring frequently, especially the law of reciprocity. That's huge. But all three of them will really play a part in how you conduct your life, the interactions that you have, the decisions that you make, and how you're going to see stuff from a different angle you haven't seen before. I guess that's all. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Actually, just quick update. I did update the website attached with Zeus with Bruce. So you can go up there. It is really well tailored. I worked with an incredible team and it came out beautifully. So check that out. Send this to someone who would find this valuable. And I'm curious. Let me know. Did I miss a law that's crucial? Did I mention one that is not important at all? We'd love to know what you guys think. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Zeus with Bruce. Peace.